Good morning, all. Welcome to Monday. This is episode 57. I have no idea what's going to come out. It's been a interesting couple of days, as I'm sure for all of you. Happy apocalypse. If there, can you hear that? Tell me if you can hear the jackhammer. If so, it may be too much for the show, and that's fine. We can take a day. But let me know if the jackhammer is too bad, because I am next to their jackhammering next door, and I'm not sure how bad that is on the sound. I hope that you guys had a chance to catch my conversation yesterday with Benjamin Balderson. We spoke about more about gold, his alchemical approach really to gold, and what he thought about that, and how it worked for everyone. Okay, good. Not too much. Good. It's happening right now as I'm talking. So right now, the jackhammering is really bad, but that's great. Then I'll keep going. Great. Glad you guys could make it. Okay. So, how do you teach discernment? What I mean by that is that how do you teach someone to not trust anyone, and, like, not trust anyone freely, like without earning it? How do you teach trust? How do you teach someone to, when they enter the jungle, to realize that there is a predator there, that is full of jaguars, that is full of panthers, right? You don't want to put them in shock, but you don't want them to be naive. You're looking for that perfect mix where they're not naive and where they're not in fear shock, right? Where they're surviving, but they're doing more than surviving. They're living, right? You want to make sure they survive, but then you want to make sure they live. So you have this delicate balance, a sine wave, right? Between safety and what's the word for that? Immersion. I would say it's immersion. If you are too afraid of a situation, you're not able to be immersed in it. You're blocking yourself from it, right? If you are too naive about a situation, you will die quickly due to your own mistakes as a result of your naivete. It's a delicate balance. And it seems to me, and we've talked about this before, but it seems to me this world is here to teach us discernment. And we've spoken about the concept of Lord technology, right? That there is a God, and then inside of God is a technology called Lord technology. And these two technologies work together in a dojo, and you are in Earth's dojo, and it will be full of adversaries. In fact, man, think about how badass men are. Like, think of the best possible man you've ever imagined. Think of your father, maybe. Think of someone that is a true powerhouse to you. Now imagine how incredible would the adversary have to be in order to present him with a big enough of a challenge, right? How much he's on the East Wing today. How strong of an adversary would the best among us need to survive, to discern, to not be bored in class, right? To fully immerse themselves in the environment while still not going into shock. You would need an adversary that packs a punch. And the Hebrew word for adversary is Satan. That's the word for it. It's the word for personal trainer. And as I've been suggesting to us the last week or two, we have been caught worshiping our gym trainer. It's true. We've been going to the gym and bowing down on our yoga mat and worshiping our gym trainer, the dude, the Zumba instructor, right? The dude running the spin class, the guy who has who's got you spotted in your weights, right? Maybe we've been falsely worshiping him. Maybe Lord Technology is actually not supposed to be worshipped, and maybe God is. That's what we've been talking about lately. And we looked at the Old Testament, showed all these examples of Lord Technology at work. We showed a jealous God. We've shown an angry God. We've shown behavior in humans that worship the Lord. I'm recalled, what's the verse of, it's like, come, Smithers, let me show my zeal for the Lord. You guys remember that quote? Let's see. Which quote was that? Sorry, I should have had that pulled up. I'm gonna get it though. Bible Gateway. That's always a good one. It's about a dude at the well, right? He came to kill. Where is it? Here it is. 2 Kings 10:16. Jehu said this. If so, said Jehu. Wait, make sure. Yeah. So Jehu, just to give you some context, Jehu was sent to Samaria to kill all of Ahab's family, and he met some innocent people at a well, and he goes, "Hey, do you guys know anyone who's related to Ahab?" And they answered him, and basically it was a massive throat cutting ceremony, like 30, 40 people in broad daylight, right in front of this well. And after he says, "If so, said Jehu, give me your hand." So he did, and Jehu helped him up into the chariot. Jehu said, "Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord." Then he had him ride along in his chariot. When Jehu came to Samaria, he killed all who were left there of Ahab's family. He destroyed them according to the word of the Lord spoken to Elijah. Again, that's 2 Kings verse 10. It's only one of many examples. There is a real live bloodlust, zeal for following the Lord. And those who do not follow the gym trainer, right? Those who do not show up to spin class would be considered irreverent, heretical, worthy of zealifying, right? Worthy of Jehu striking you down with great zeal and showing his own devotion. That, my friends, is the difference between Lord Technology and God. And that's kind of been the gist of what we've been pushing at lately. Having this kind of discernment, basically we're defining Satan's role more is what we're doing. We're taking the role of Satan, and we're realizing that God hired him. Actually, to be really frank, guys, I think the truth of it is that we hired Satan. I believe that probably what happens is we as humans end up picking our Satan. We get to pick that trainer. We actually make that choice. And that trainer requires a different skill set as we evolve. If you look back in the Old Testament, we were horrible. I mean, we were so bad. we were blood sacrificing everything. Any kind of concept we had at all was based on some sort of, well, someone's going to have to bleed. We had horrible notions of how to treat each other, of how to treat our family, of how important we were or were not. Horrible notions about loyalty, about government. It's been a nonstop battle of us learning how to discern. And again, if you can take that compassion and look back on the Bible, you will see that, wow, this Lord technology really is adaptive. Throughout the years, it has learned to adapt its techniques and change it in such a way as to help us guide us along our way. In fact, you could consider, I don't know if I see it this way, but you could consider that Jesus is the next iteration of Lord technology, in the sense of it went from a zealous setup into a compassionate kind of framework. I don't know if I personally buy that. I think that there's so much more truth to Jesus. I think Jesus transcends Lord technology. I think that it's, if anything, Lord technology was here to coax Jesus technology to be able to emerge from inside of us. So Lord technology is more outside, coming from outside of you, where Jesus technology is a living cross technology. It's going to spring up from inside you and do what's necessary. But all that's open for interpretation, and you guys should definitely be pruning my lips on that. So as we develop this new compassionary look at Lord technology, we can see a universe, a world that was built specifically for Lord to fuck with us. It's, you understand that this environment was created in such a way where we're here to be deceived, we're here to be broken, we're here to break each other, we're here to experience trauma in a quasi-safe environment that allows us to learn to discern, right? To develop our training wheels and learn how to shed them, to learn how to survive from that. And as you look at the world that way, this explains the lies, this explains psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism. It explains evacuation. It shows you that evil is actually just an evacuation of a human. Evil is not Satan is not evil. It's very important. Satan is not evil. It's your evacuation of yourself that's evil. That's the dangerous part. There's nothing dangerous about anything that what Satan does. Satan is here to secrete your consent. If you give that consent to him, Satan has done no evil. You have done evil. You have given Satan your consent. If you did not give Satan your consent, he would not be as big as he is. But again, it's hard to call Satan evil because he's following your consent. That's all he's doing. He has a consent-based ethic to him, a relativism, if you could say it. It's borderline utilitarianism. It's like William James would say, what is truth is what works, right? A relativist is even more liberal in the sense of they will say, actually, it's not even what works, it's who agrees. Everyone who agrees, therefore decrees what is moral. Morality is driven from relativity. Relativity in the sense of whoever's in the room, if everyone agrees to play spin the bottle, we have consent, therefore it's legit. That's what you see in Hollywood. That's what you see at high school parties, right? That's what you see at drug benches, where people experiment with drugs, or it goes all the way up to sodomy and even further, pedophilia. You have a mosh pit mentality, right? The exact same system as a mosh pit, saying that we are in this together, therefore we've consented to all this, therefore it's okay. That's the core of relativism. And scientism is relativism. That's what the transgender movement's about. That's what LGBT pride is about. That's what the next month is sodomy month. That's what it'll be about. It's the science of relativism. It's that if you get enough people to agree, you now have a moral center of the world. That's why abortion is good in these people's eyes, because they are living in pure relativism. All right? The best way to picture this is to picture one of those gyro rides that you see at like an amusement park, where it spins you around in a gyro. You are stationary on the ground. There is an up and a down, but while you're inside that gyro spinning, you have no idea. In fact, you are better off by claiming you're up is when you look straight up into your head. That you can develop your own moral compass as it's spinning in a centrifuge. And that's a mythology of relativism. It's also a pruning of the self. It definitely breeds self-reliance. And that's why relativism is so popular, because it does breed self-reliance. It creates you out of your shell to decide, wait a minute, maybe in a world of insanity, maybe I am actually a better moral discerner than the newspaper, or than what my friends are saying at school. So relativism, although it is a cancer of morality in and of itself, it actually has some uses when you're living in a world of dissonance. It becomes necessary. It would be nice if you had an environment, a dojo, where you could learn the folly of relativism. And isn't it nice that we have that very thing here? That's what we have right now. Without relativism, no one would be suggesting circumcision. No one would be suggesting abortion. No one would be suggesting mass vaccination. It requires that system in place for us to learn, whoa, that was a bad idea. That was a horrible, horrible idea, we tell ourselves. And either we learn from that or we don't, right? We gain ground or we retreat. This place is a dojo. And once you're in the ring, Lord technology begins. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. This morning, when I woke up around dawn this morning, before dawn or whatever. And in this window right here, I have it. A beautiful view out that way. Right now it's all cloudy. But the moon was up over here. It was a crescent moon. And if I follow the tangent of the moon, the perpendicular, I should say, against the sphere, it said that the sun was over there. And it was already up in the sky. That's what it said. Again, looking at the crescent of the moon. But then what happens instead is what always happens. The sun comes up over there. Not always, it moves, but, right around now, it's up there. I watch it every morning. I like the sun. I pay attention to what it's doing. Even when the moon disagrees. Even when the moon says, hey, James, the sun's supposed to be over there. And if I run to Google, I will find some ridiculous stories about atmospheric angularity oscillation under a prime aurora borealis tinge that causes a refraction of the upper west side umbilical of the flip-flop of the natural thong of the universe. And that's why you're seeing the sun over there. You enter into that ride of relativity, that relative moral lie, when you enter into scientism. You learn to take your senses, I am 11 miles across a lake and I can shoot a laser into a mirror and there's no hump when there should be 16 feet of water between me. You take that real evidence that you see and you tell yourself how wrong it is. You explain to yourself that no, it's an atmospheric aberration and that the laser somehow is able to curve. It's bending over the hump also. And not only that, but it's a special kind of mirage that also works on any temperature, regardless of what time of day it is. we take the relativism, we take the ride, and we assure ourselves. Up is when you look straight up into your head. That's what up is. That's what truth is. Truth is when you look straight up into your head. And that's what schooling's all about. And this morning when I was watching the sunrise and I noticed that it was off, I try and imagine what it's like to be in this world where you don't know anything, where you haven't been told anything, where you have a raw feed into the world and you're just trying to figure it out, where you don't even have words really to describe it. And I pictured that world this morning, and I pictured where it would be obvious that the moon and the sun were trying to fool me. In other words, I would see a cycle that was there where it's off, like this morning. And if I was to use my discernment enough, if I wasn't to believe in relativism, I would eventually discover a system that was trying to tell me that there were these giant round sphere balls in the sky. And that then if you extrapolate it enough, I live on a sphere ball. You start to get this notion where it would be easy to make people, I should clarify what I mean by that is that you're seeing these sphere balls in the sky, and then you get the notion of whoever made this place, it's almost like they would want me to think that this could be a sphere ball place. Not only could it be that, but that I could probably convince other people that this is a sphere ball place. And if you were to be that early, right, before all the liars come out, before all the truthers come out, if you could be that early, you understand how it would be pretty easy to establish a rumor, a false rumor about that stuff. And I can give you an example of that. I can point to COVID-19. I can show you how a rumor can start and how that rumor can take over the entire world. And that rumor can bring an economy to its knees. And it can make people cover their face. It can change procedures. It can make old people die alone. It can cause starvation. It can cause economic ruin. It can reset everything that's ever happened. It can create an army that crawls out of the ground that's here to stop anyone that doesn't believe in the rumor, that doesn't accept the rumor as it is. And if I saw a long time ago, if I was one of those first people that saw this, that understood, why is there this system where it looks like this could look like a ball? It might give me a clue as to what this is all about, like what this whole place is all about. What I'm getting at is that if I was able to see how easy all of us fall for rumors, and I was to see these objects in the sky, almost like furniture, almost like playtoys, almost like I've been laid down on a blanket of Legos, and my mom has a string wrapped around the Legos, and at any point in time she can pull the string and all the Legos come up with her. It's almost like I can look around my environment and go, this is an interesting playpen that's focused on me using Legos. It wants me in a world by laying on this blanket of Legos. If I had enough wisdom at the time, I would understand that my mom's doing this because she wants me to enjoy, or she wants me to play with Legos. I enjoy playing with Legos. So because I have Legos, it would make sense that I'm here to enjoy these Legos. And then if you could apply enough intelligence, you would say, so my mom wants me to understand how you could build things, how this universe that I have, these Legos I have, can be pulled apart and placed together, and how certain pieces have certain functions, like this has wheels, and I can build things on top of these wheels and move them back and forth. And all of it's temporary. All these Legos are temporary. I know because it'll be dinner soon and all this will have to come up. And I can put things together, I can leave them here and come back, but it might break, I'll have to fix it again. And everything that I have here is imbued with my imagination. As I play with the blocks, I can pretend they're a spaceship, or I can pretend they're a giant boat. I can pretend they're a submarine. I can pretend it's a gun. I can pretend I am here to invoke my imagination into these Legos. I am here to discern them. I am here to play with them and to understand how the world works. That's a lot. You've learned a lot from that. Like, you've learned a lot of your cosmology by looking and noticing the ground around you and what you're here to do. And if you didn't get in trouble, that's what you would understand. If you got in trouble, you might notice that there's only 4 wheels, which means when me and my brother play, we can only have a car. The wheels aren't built in such a way where we can make 2 motorcycles. We can only have a car or 2 Segways. But that's all. And now there's a lack. And because of that lack, whoever put me here was here to make me suffer, to make me battle for the wheels. And that really they're here to hate me because I was born without wheels. But when I was put down on the mat and the mat was open, the wheels were closer to him. And so he got the wheels. And that this is why this world is so unfair. It's here to torture me. This world is here to confuse me and to make me feel awful. And that would be another way to play Legos, wouldn't it? Like, that would be a completely different way to experience the entire Lego pit. And just like relativism, you learn your system of morality, you learn your system of right and wrong based off your environment. You learn to look up. And in your environment, if you're seeing a disparity between wheel displacement, you can look up and see this world is here to be unfair. It is here to separate us between the wheeled and the unwheeled. And you would never ever know that you were there to play with Legos. You would never have any clue that that's why you were there. And what I'm suggesting that I saw this morning is that this world, just like every camouflage you see in nature, just like every mockingbird, every bird call, every snake that's pretending to be non-poisonous or poisonous, every frog that's trying to look like a leaf, every lie that a pretty girl or a pretty boy told you when you were little, every lie that your company told you when you were older, or your government, or your doctor, or your teacher, or your professor, that all these lies were Legos. And that what we have to do is learn how to hold 2 Legos in our hand and to decide, are these Legos true or are they not? And what makes them true? What makes it real? Because it can function in the world. I can use it as a keystone. I can use a lie as a keystone. It's true. I can use a lie as a keystone and build an entire castle off that lie. And the only reason why it works is because there's enough dumb sods behind me that will enter the portcullis and say, this is a great castle. I frickin' love that keystone. It's fabulous. So I'm here to learn that lies are not, they're not like a dirty, rotten banana mixed in with a bunch of clean ones. No. They look like keystones. They can be placed in certain ways where other people will believe them. I will know, but it doesn't matter because they won't. And I could build an entire world off this system. And you start to understand what it is we're playing with. What it is we're playing with, guys, is belief. We're playing with the technology of our own essence. And what we believe, we secrete essence into. I believe in my dogs. I secrete essence into them every day. I believe in my house. I secrete essence to the mortgage company every month. I believe in hummingbirds. I secrete sugar water for them. Even if I don't like something, I still secrete essence into it because I believe in it, because I believe it's real. My neighbor's brother, my neighbor's having some trouble. She's doing a lot better now, guys. I think we figured out what it was. But my neighbor's brother is so paranoid about coronavirus, he can't come see her. He wants to help her, but he can't come see her. He's too afraid. The keystone has been set. And it doesn't matter what's true. It doesn't matter if I went over there and showed him a video by Dr. Kaufman. That wouldn't work. It wouldn't matter if I went over there and just tried to talk to him. It wouldn't matter. His essence has been decided. His essence believes in his sister, and his essence believes in COVID-19. And he's able to see which essence wins out in this case. To be fair to him, he's still coming. He just doesn't want to walk inside. It's okay. We don't need a scapegoat here. We're all competing with our own essence, what we've invested it in. The NASA fanboy that yells at me on Twitter every time I post something. He's mad because of how much essence he's put into it. His profile photo has him at NASA. His background picture is a NASA rocket. When he was in high school, he was chosen for the senior summer early space program, right? He's been fully built around those blocks of NASA, the essence of it. And his entire world requires that keystone. And I am fucking that up for him. Like every morning, I'm making that awful for him. And he hates that. He hates that. And he doesn't realize yet that by hating that, he's putting essence into me. He's giving me essence. And the reason why he's giving me essence is because I presented something to him that cut through the relativity. It made him realize he had strapped himself into a gyro and was spinning. And I think what made him realize that is he saw me standing on ground, on solid ground. And he saw me explain all the level tests, the lake level tests. And he saw me when he goes, well, that's because it's over water and it curves over water. And then he saw me go, well, here it is on the salt flats test. That was his adversary. I was his Satan. Boom! I fucking clocked him. Right in the nose. And it hurt. And that's why he's here. He's here to hurt. He's here to be fooled so bad that he would never ever imagine that he could ever be fooled that bad. And that's what a good sparring partner does. That's what a good adversary does. And I believe that when you look at NASA and just how deeply embedded it is with Masons, you really, really see that, yes, of course, NASA's lying. But NASA believes that they are doing the work of Satan. NASA believes that they are Lord technology. They believe that they are serving you because we are consenting by giving them $56 million a day. Yeah, we could argue, but James, accountability. In fact, Michelle, if you're listening, I hear you. We need to hold them accountable. But do we? Do we really need to hold them accountable? Or does holding them accountable simply self-soothe us because we still haven't solved the initial issue, which is that we fall for keystones. We fall for these arches because they make us feel good. Because even if we capture NASA, right? Even if we force Buzz Aldrin to fess up, right? Even if we expose all of it for what it is, don't we have to do the same thing to Elon Musk now? And yeah, we do. But my point is that Greta Van Susteren, Elon Musk is a dildo holster, by the way. He's a freaking dildo holster. He's now telling everyone to take the red pill as he's lying to you. But my point is that if we held NASA responsible, we would then have to start the entire process over. And we'd have to go through another 50 or 60 years where we doubted Tesla for a while. I mean, Elon Musk for a while. Or we said, I don't know if I believe him. And then it'll be the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy. Meanwhile, if we were to back up the boat and come back to the very beginning and go, why was I so hungry for that keystone? Why was I so quick to adopt that? And you already know the answer. Guys, you already know the answer. It's not because they are evil. It's because you are gullible. And that's not even the answer. Don't worry. It's not that bad. And I'm talking about myself too. It's because we wanted to give that our essence. The fact is that in 1950s, the idea of a Reynolds Wrap rocket was worthy of our essence at the time. We thought it was so fabulous to see science doing its thing that we didn't care. We just wanted it to be true. And that's what I did on my marriage. I really wanted, I don't mean to make this about that, but it's just, I'm just trying to give an example that the essence that we pour into people, it's good stuff. It's so good that we hate to see it wasted. And we ride the river card, right? We keep raising anyone calls us. We see their call because we don't want to fold. And it gets harder and harder and harder. We find ourselves when Elon Musk says take the red pill, we're like, maybe I should take the red pill. It'd be great. Wouldn't it be awesome if he was like telling the truth? It sure would, man. That would restore my faith in everything. It would. Science was groomed to you as a golden child. It was groomed to you as this is perfect. Science love-bombed you. It love-bombed you. You had no idea. Because it was promising you all the answers. And they were good answers, right? It rains diamonds on Neptune. His name's Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong. It has all the elements of a Hollywood movie and more. NASA is Satan as the adversary, but they're not doing it to be evil. They're doing it to be Lord technology. The same Masons that parked the Mercy and the Comfort. The same Illuminati that started this country. The same people like Ben Franklin who said everyone should be a philosopher king. Everyone should be able to stand in any soil and know that they're a free man, not by any paper, not by any certificate, but by their own understanding of natural law. How do you teach discernment? Do you teach discernment by telling someone the truth the whole time? Because the answer is no. No, you teach that person what it's like to have someone in their life that they can trust, unquestionably. And that's not discernment. That's the antithesis of discernment. So how do you do it? How do you frickin' do that? You would want your child to experience lies in a controlled environment. That's how you do it. You'd want the opportunity for your child to learn without doing irreparable harm to him or someone else. But James, what about death? Yeah, death sounds horrible. It does. But it also sounds like something all of us do anyway. It feels like it's part of the dojo. It feels like death is part of the dojo. That's why paranoid schizophrenics see what they see. That's why some of us interpret energy as ghosts. Some of us call it Sasquatch. Some of us call it UFOs. Some of us call it ETs. Some of us call it reptilians. Some of us call it serpent people underground. Some of us call it fairies. Some of us call it will-o-wisps. We're all experiencing the same thing. And it's the result of our essence being poured into things. Right? We build up our energy. We build up our energy, right? And then we do something with it. We pour our essence into it, our sacrifice of time. We give ourselves to it like you would a teddy bear. The more nights you sleep with the teddy bear, the more essence that teddy bear has. It's so essence when you leave it at Pizza Hut, you are broken until you get it back. You trust it more than people. And you probably should. Because that's part of why we're here. It's one of the reasons why we're here. And it's why you're arguing right now with everyone around you. I'm not trying to say, just what I mean is that there's so much dissonance out there that you can't agree with everyone. Most of the people that disagree with you right now, most of the people that disagree with you right now think news is real. They open their eyes in the morning, and if they hear something that came from YouTube, social media, their news site, all these are the same, they're conglomerated. If someone else posted it or shared it, or if they can see a headline and it has a picture on it, the base result is to accept it as true. It's to believe it. And then to react to it afterwards, to react to that reaction. Most people wake up assuming that everything they're told is real. Not assuming, they believe it. And so what happens when you believe the headline, when you see the headline, it rains diamonds on Neptune, you're blowing prana into your hands, you're rubbing them together to build up your chi, and you're wrapping it around that story, and you're saying, I give you life. I give you life, diamonds falling in Neptune. I give you life, Uranus smells like farts. I give you life, there's a secret hexagram on the face of Saturn. Whatever it is, you embody your cosmology with your belief, with your essence. And I trust me, if you catch a Mason that's been lying, if we catch Chris Hardwick, the NASA astronaut, if we ever were to catch him, I will help you seek retribution. We definitely should punish liars. I'm all for that. But I'm saying that it doesn't make sense that these are baby head eaters, right? It doesn't make sense that a baby head eater would spare the shuttle astronaut crew after that exploded. It doesn't make sense that they would make so many obvious mistakes with the hairspray, with everything else. It makes more sense that they kind of want you to catch them. It makes more sense that they're your trainer and they're going all at it, but they're only using the required force it takes for you to learn this round of lessons. And when they see you when you're down, when your sparring partner sees that you're down and you're not doing well, he's going to stop hitting you as hard. He's going to make things easier. He's going to show you some wires. He's going to show you some hairspray. He's going to show you some things that are just so obvious. Pictures of people underground in snorkels. Chris Hardwick posting a photo of a bullet hole that was clip art, saying there's a hole in the space station. But we fixed it with gum and duct tape. In a zero-G environment. Perfect vacuum. This is Satan saying, get up. That's what it is. That's what Building 7 is. That's what this COVID lie is. And a lot of us aren't getting up. A lot of us are not getting up, are they? A lot of us are like, no, all of that's real. All of that has to be real. I've given it too much essence, James. I'm not willing to look at your flat experiments, you know. I'm not willing to consider how easy it is to contradict what I just told you. I've just put too much essence into it, man. It's just too much. It seems to make so much sense. Because otherwise, if this was about baby eating, head baby eating, if NASA was about that, they would turn on each other quicker. You would see more of a fall. But instead, there's like a mass lie. These are mass lies. Elon's in on it. Bezos is in on it. Trump's in on it. Trump is in on it, by the way. Don't make me show you the video where he's with Ivanka in the White House and they're calling the ISS and they're celebrating boobies in space. How important it is that we have mammary glands in space. That the women in the astronaut program is the key to securing our national security, or whatever he said. And that all these women are going to be on the moon, but it's going to be like a week after I leave office. How convenient, right? You put your essence in it. And Trump's going to capitalize on that, because that's what Trump does. Any wrestler would do that. Any professional wrestler would want to be bitch slapped a few times so that you'll feel sorry for him. He would want to be slung up against the ropes. He'd want to be clotheslined. He'd want to be hit by a chair, even. He would want that. It's so easy to see it, guys. It's so obvious to see it. The reason why it's hard for some of you, or for some of us, I should say, the reason why it's hard is because of how much essence we put into it before. We're not willing to cut that off and let it go. And that shows you that belief is finite. And that's good. That's such an important lesson. Because a week ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever, when you were giving Elon Musk your essence, or whoever, all of us have made a mistake. Take that person and just insert it. Back then, you thought that essence was infinite. You thought that belief was a never-ending force that was always there. That's what you used to think. Now you don't. Now you don't. Now you know it's finite. And I'll tell you, that's good. That's a good lesson you learned. It's almost like God's behind all this. It's almost like in the background, He's the one that actually drew this circle. And when we get inside it, Lord Technology comes as an adversary and just kicks the shit out of us until we stop making mistakes. Until we figure out how the Legos work, I should say. Not even mistakes. It's not even mistakes. It's until we figure out how the Legos work. Yeah, it's not a mistake. It would be like looking at the Lego car and going, you built that wrong. You should have built it with a red Lego instead of a blue one. That's me falling for quickening technology, for there can be only one, for victory over wisdom. It's all here. It's a living earth dojo. It's everything makes sense when you look at it through this aperture. Everything. Even pedophilia. It all makes sense. Because if you don't have a dojo that's willing to, that's strong enough to let you wrong yourself and others in the worst possible ways you can possibly imagine, it's not going to be effective. And some of us have learned to wrong ourselves enough where we just give up, we don't care. So we need to wrong our children. Because we need something worse. We need something worse than abandoning ourselves to teach us. So we abandon our children instead. That's why vaccines are there. That's why public schools are there. That's why circumcision is there. These are all lessons of Baal. All gifts of Baal in one big dojo. In one big circle. Where you can learn them all. Now, I'm still learning them. All of us are. I'm going to end the show today. I'm going to end the show now. Episode 34 is gone. There's no more episode 34. That was called Pranksters of the Apocalypse. It was a good episode. It was a really good episode. It started with that video of one of the COVID doctors, and I believe that's why it was cut off. So that episode is only available on podcast right now. So if you want to catch that, you can still see it on podcast now. Hopefully, the podcast will stay. And thanks for being with me today. Have a great apocalypse. And yeah, I was going to... Oh, Bumblebee in the hand. Yeah, I should tell you this. It's not really like... Anyway, this morning there was a bumblebee on the window down here. It was, trapped inside from last night. And I picked it up like I normally do. And I didn't use a glass. I just picked it up. And I had it in my hand. And the buzzing was so amazing. It was just, it was more than a tickle, although it certainly was a tickle. That tickling levitation in my hand was gorgeous. And I think the fact that I was even partially nervous, I hope it didn't sting me, added to just how enjoyable the experience was. It's I didn't require a glass, I didn't have to take a glass, put it over the bumblebee, slide a sheet of paper underneath it, and then take it outside. I wanted to experience the bumblebee. It wanted to experience getting out, and we had an exchange of information and vibration as I pulled him out. It's a really, really cool experience. Hey, I missed some super chats. Let me say thanks to those. It's not letting me scroll up. I'm going to find who super chatted me, and I'm going to thank you next time, because sometimes it only lets me scroll so far. So you guys have a great day. It could be 59 million now, Oregano. It could be. Last time I checked, it was only 56. It was only 56 million. It was only 56 million. But now it's even more. Yeah, man. Gifts of Baal, right? You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. I got some good episodes coming up for you tomorrow and the next day. Good stuff. Can't wait to show you. I almost did it today, but the jackhammer, I didn't want it to screw it up. Plus, I got something going on with my buddy here. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.